Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. You've seen the thumbnail, you've read the title, and you ask yourself, what the hell is the Boon of Azeroth? Well, that's what we are going to talk about, so let's just get into it. How the hell do we get WoW back to its supposed RPG roots? It's a question that I imagine the devs have to wrestle with every time they want to add a new system, a new item of power, talents, abilities, whatever it may be. They're like, oh, at some point we're going to have to prune this, we're going to have to get rid of it. They fear that should the item be left for long enough, it is going to unbalance the game as these powers keep increasing, they keep stacking. But the problem is, increasing the power and the abilities of our characters, of the supposed hero of this RPG, is the very core of an RPG. Think about it, you're this fresh level 1. You're kitted in, I don't know, some rag t-shirt and a ripped pair of trousers, and you've got this little blunt knife in your hand. And you go out there and you fight a boar for the first time, and the thing almost kills you. You come back at level 30 and you can kill an entire field of boars. At this point you have fought demons, skeleton hordes, vampires, whatever it may be, whatever game you're playing, you are now, a boar is nothing to you. Expansion after expansion, you keep gaining these powers until the point that you can split the entire planet in two. You're so powerful. How do you scale bosses against that level of power? You've in essence become One Punch Man. And the simple answer is, in World of Warcraft, Blizzard don't. We have our talents and our abilities and that's it. And then every expansion we try and reinvent the wheel, adding some new systems. We get, I don't know, a new fancy bit of armor with slots on. We get a blessing. We get legendary weapons that have minds of their own. And then, you know what? When we're done, we simply put them in the cupboard in our non-existent player housing, close the door, and we move on, leaving behind this incredible power. Because, of course, that's what you do in an RPG. But how do we balance this power so that we keep progressing, we keep gaining, yet we do not become gods that it's impossible to balance a game around? That is where this idea of the Boon of Azeroth comes from. The name may not be great, apologies, but bear with me on this. Now that we've bonded with Azeroth, after being the holder of the heart, we can gain a buff that increases our primary stats, just a flat primary buff boost. This would also empower our other new item, or the new system we're going to create, and that is the return of the relic slot. And I thank AutomaticJak for this one. Yes, there's a copy of the tweet that he did, basically saying, why don't we just return relics? It would be way simpler. And it's a damn good idea, even on its own, regardless of the rest of what I'm going to talk about. Just return the relic slot would actually be a pretty good idea. So, for those that don't know, back in the day we had this relic slot, an extra slot for our equipment. You can see it on the screen now. This is from way back when. As WoW has grown, it's been removed, like hunters having the need for an arrow slot so they can have a pack of arrows on them that they can fire off and then have to go and buy yet more. Oh, I regretted being a hunter. If we return this slot to all players, so every player would now have this relic slot, then we can start doing some interesting things. So let's say our Heart of Azeroth was actually a relic. It wasn't a neck piece, it was a relic. And it gives us a large talent tree, much like the Legion weapon. Now we can have stat buffs in there, we can have a number of abilities that we can pick from by the end of an expansion, but we can only have one active at a time. So each relic would give us a new set of abilities that we could pick from. So it keeps it in line with what Blizzard want. They want to just fill our bars of new abilities, but we get to select, we get to choose what we want. Then you would have it that at the end of BFA, which is when we're meant to be our most powerful, that we were jacked up and corrupt, but it would actually be is that because we've healed Azeroth, because we've been putting all this Azerite back into Azeroth to heal her up, the boon that we've been given because we're carrying around the heart would be super powerful. That in turn makes our relic more powerful. And of course, then Shadowlands happens, we enter this new realm and our powers are slashed because we've lost contact with Azeroth. We only have a fraction of the power remaining in the heart. We're not actually being empowered by Azeroth herself, so our boon would drop dramatically. We haven't lost any powers, no systems changed, we've just been brought back down. It is, as I say, simply that the boon has gone from, I don't know, 99% or 120% by the end of the expansion, down to 20%, whatever's remaining in the heart itself. But then we go to Oribus and we gain a new blessing. gain, I don't know, the Boon of Death. We go to the Covenants, and they give us their abilities in the form of this relic. So, for instance, Venthyr, they would give us a Sin Stone that would have the Venthyr Covenant ability built into it, plus a little talent tree. So by the time we've hit 60, we have all 4 of the Covenant relics in our bags. And we have the Boon of Death that's been given to us. But remember, this would be low because Anima is an issue. Anima's in a drought at the moment, so therefore the boon is not going to be that high, and you start to see how it can repeat itself. But we haven't changed anything. It's still the boon system, it's still the relic system. So on top of this, so our boon has increased as the Anima goes up, but then I know people are thinking, oh, but we've got the Covenants we've got to pick, and I don't want to do that. It's a pain. I have to lock this power behind this Covenant, and So here's a kind of solution how this relic system would work with regards to Covenants. My Blood DK picks Venthyr. What would happen is, because I'm now with the Venthyr, they would empower, as I gained renown with them, more of that relic. So let's say parts of the tree would be locked off because I'm not Venthyr. As I progress, they start to unlock more of the tree for me. So for instance, we've got these new legendaries that are coming in 9.1. One of them is that Swarming Mist will explode once it's finished. Well, that could just be part of this talent tree instead. So I'm with the Venthyr, I now have this part of the talent tree where I can pick, oh, my Swarming Mist is going to explode once it's done. But if you're not with the Venthyr, you could still use Swarming Mist, but it will not have the ability to be empowered further because the Covenant haven't unlocked that gift for you. And here's the thing, there's nothing stopping me from swapping. So I could be with the Venthyr, but I could go, do you know what, I don't know, doing some questing, I'm just messing about, or whatever it is that I'm going to do. So on my Druid, I might tank as, I don't know, a Night Fae, let's say, but I want to try Kyrian Healing, or whatever it may be. I can just put that stone in, I can put that relic in. It's not going to be as powerful as my main one because I'm not empowered with that Covenant, but it gives me a chance to try things and swap things out and see whether I like it. And for the 99% of us, that's going to be good enough. But the most important thing is that nothing has changed from what we created in BFA to what we now have in Shadowlands. We still have this boon, just we may have changed the name, and we still have the relic system. But the powers, how they work, all that kind of thing, great, we've got different abilities, we've got different talents, but it all is still the same, it's familiar. So this system keeps going from expansion to expansion. But as you go, you can either create new relics, or you can empower existing ones, extending the trees out as you want. But oh, the relic's too powerful now? Well, we can simply adjust the boon, dialing it back down to bring the power levels back down. Of course, tying it into the story. You can adjust these little things, keeping them balanced, or as balanced as anything can be in World of Warcraft. The relics can go into a book, similar to the old Glyph book, or the heirloom one that we have now. Now, this is just food for thought. This is literally, I was sat thinking about an idea of how you can still have progression, keeping the system similar, without these stupid, oh, we've now got sockets and bolts on things, and we've got this stuff, but we created these epic weapons, but of course now you're just going to put them in a cupboard and never use them. It's like, why would I do that in an RPG? So the boon system was there in my head, and then when I went on Twitter this morning and I saw Jack's suggestion about the return of relics, I was like, that's a fantastic idea if we can combine the two. That gives us increasing power that goes past one expansion, but as I say, can still be brought back into line with what Blizzard want without pruning all of our abilities or just crushing stats back down yet again, should they get out of control in Blizzard's eyes. Whew. Now let me know what you think. It would be interesting to see if you prefer the kind of changing fresh system dance that we have now. Oh, it's changed again. Let's learn. Let's see what we have to do now that sort of changes from expansion to expansion. Or if something like this kind of new system that we're thinking of now, it might be better. Or would it be stale? Would after a couple of expansions you'd be like, oh, this is the same thing. I'm just going to get a different relic. And it's actually, that classic, you think you do, but you don't. It's just going to end up being boring, that I'm just going to have a book full of relics, and yawn, I've done this 100 times. Can you come up with something more interesting now? Thanks. But that is enough from me, everyone. I'm looking forward to reading the comments on this. Thank you all for watching. Stay safe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Laters, everyone.